Viewers, 134 people have been murdered. Murdered. Let that word sink in. Murdered in one of India's worst ever crimes of moral depravity. The murders of Morbi, for there is no other way to describe the carnage witnessed there, was state-sponsored. Yes, state-sponsored. How else will you explain the absurdity of a contract for the maintenance of a bridge being handed to a company that makes clocks, wall clocks? They had no expertise. How else will you explain the lack of action against the minister under whose watch the company was allowed to sell tickets to tourists, giving them access to the bridge without first getting a clearance certificate? The bridge was opened, viewers, without a clearance certificate, without a safety audit. Imagine, viewers, this soulless company of despicable profiteers sold tickets to children and adults to access an illegally opened bridge. And, viewers, they overcharged the children and the adults. The state allowed the concessionaire to send people to their deaths. If this isn't true, then can the state explain how a bridge was operating illegally for 6 days without permission? Can it tell us why some small fry from the firm have been arrested and not the owners? Are the owners too important? Are they friends? If this isn't state collusion, then what is? Not one among the parents of 49 children who have lost their pride and joy will disagree with me tonight, viewers. You try telling those parents that the state and the concessionaire's bosses, its owners, weren't to blame. They will never accept it. So why should we, viewers? Why should you and I? Why should all of us accept this? For years altogether, the Indian state has been finding new ways to murder us. Manholes left uncovered by the state administrative machinery across India have killed a total of 5,393 people between 2015 and 2020. That's an average of 2 innocents dying daily because of state maladministration. In fact, 30% of India's total manhole deaths happen in Gujarat alone. When innocent people are not falling into manholes, then they are busy dodging potholes on neglected roads. 5,626 people, in fact, died in road accidents due to potholes in 2 years between 2018 and 2020. That's an average of 7 people dying every day. Once again, they are sent to their deaths by state negligence. In 2019, more than 1 million people were literally poisoned to death because of spiraling air pollution that continues unabated due to state inertness. Toxin in our water killed 7 people every day in 2018. This despite every tax-paying Indian being levied an additional Swachh Bharat cess by the government. These are, viewers, serial killings. The murders are relentless because the state is relentlessly protecting its own. When did you last hear of a senior administration official, a member of parliament, an MLA, or even a mayor being sentenced to death for causing death due to negligence? That's precisely what is happening in Morbi, Gujarat. Here the state, after having abandoned hundreds to their fate in the hands of unscrupulous collaborators, has not even named one senior administration official in the FIR, viewers. Even the name of the owners and the CEO of the concessionaire, which sent people to their deaths, are missing from the FIR. Instead, the state is passing the buck to the contractors in charge of the daily maintenance of the bridge. This is a cover-up of 140 murders. Now let me tell you how. Let's break it down for you, viewers. I will always give you just the facts so that you get closer to the truth. Last evening, the bridge became a stairway to hell. A structure that could barely hold 80 to 100 people at a time was crammed with up to 400. Innocent visitors who didn't know they were buying tickets to their death for 12 and 17 rupees. In fact, the concessionaire was not supposed to charge 17 rupees, viewers, till next year. There was a cap on the tickets. They were completely into profiteering. None of these people knew that this particular bridge should not have been opened. But viewers, on the day of Gujarati New Year, this bridge was thrown open to the public, and I will show you, viewers, the opening ceremony video, the ribbon cutting, where the owners of this company are standing, cutting the ribbon. Look at them on the extreme right, viewers. They're all there. Are they in jail? No, they won't go to jail. Viewers, this Morbi murder is an outcome of a series of grave lapses on part of the Morbi municipality, which is now trying to abdicate responsibility in favor of this concessionaire by saying that they knew nothing about this bridge being thrown open to the public prematurely months before its due date. Can you imagine, viewers? You, as the municipal corporation of Morbi, own the bridge. You didn't know for 6 days there were people cramming this bridge, that there were people crossing from one side to the other. That too having been sold tickets at an inflated price. They want us to believe, these municipal corporators, that they did not know that thousands of tickets were being sold daily. That a structure was functional without any fitness certificate or safety clearance been accorded to it, viewers. Viewers, there are several problems, and let me take you through this. Blind eye to blame for this bloodbath. There is just no other way of looking at it. The bridge is the property of the municipality, given to Oreva, this company that makes clocks for maintenance. How does a clockmaker end up maintaining a structure as complicated as a cable bridge? I don't know. The question, however, is, can Morbi municipality abdicate its responsibility? This question must be answered by Sandeep Singh Zala, the chief officer of Morbi municipality. If he's not been arrested, viewers, it's because he's being shielded. If the owners of this concessionaire, Oreva, are not being arrested, it's because they are being shielded. Let someone tell me otherwise. The firm threw the bridge open to visitors without notifying us, says the municipality. Was the municipality unaware of advertisements that had appeared in the newspapers? Are they blind, viewers? I mean, think about it. The concessionaire is advertising, come to the bridge, buy the ticket, take a selfie for Instagram. And this Zala fellow doesn't know. Viewers, children are dead. Almost 4 dozen children are dead. And Zala is looking the other way. Viewers, the municipality under Zala says not aware of opening, so couldn't conduct a safety audit. The bridge was functional for 5 days, yet the administration is unaware. Who are they fooling? This man should walk to the closest police station and surrender if he has any shame. The bridge was opened after completion of renovation work, says Zala's Morbi Municipal Corporation. The contract said 8 to 12 months. How was the renovation over in 5 years? The municipality hadn't issued a fitness certificate post the renovation. How are the ticket sales happening without an audit? Sandeep Singh Zala, you need to surrender, sir. Your bosses need to surrender. And the Chief Minister needs to answer why Zala's name is not in the FIR. I want to open this up, viewers. I want to get a sense of this from the BJP's national spokesperson, Shazia Ilmi. I want some answers tonight. Shazia Ilmi, I want to ask you tonight, shouldn't the Gujarat government be sued for criminal negligence for thousands of crores by the people whose lives it has jeopardized? First, I want to ask you a basic question like this.
Well, what I would like to say is that we are seeing pictures of this absolutely heartbreaking tragedy, and I cannot deflect or run away from the responsibility of the government there or the officials there, and nobody is. In fact,
really,
there are cases. There are the sections under which the criminal action has been taken are very serious sections.
Look, I don't want to make this about
I tell you why
homilies. No, one second. I am not going to hear homilies tonight. You're saying that they're not running away from their responsibilities. Now, how are they not running away when the owner of this company is not behind bars?
I never said that. No, I said they cannot run away.
They cannot run away.
I said they cannot run away.
But they are.
I said they cannot run away from this.
But they are.
That's what I said.
But they are. Do you not agree they are?
Today I have to, if you want me to be the fall guy for this tragedy, I'm ready to take it. I'm ready to be that person.
You should be.
Because I represent the party whose state unit is in power there. So I'm very responsible. Yeah, I'm answering for the BJP. But I want to say that 9 FIRs have been done, and the sections under which it has been done are very serious.
Can you name the people?
2 officers are there.
Can you name the people?
Employees are there.
Can you name the people?
If the owner is, yeah, I can name the people. Yeah. I can open it and I can show it to you, the details. But the owner will be also caught. The owner will also be caught.
Right.
And he cannot run away. He will not be allowed to get away. So I don't think the government of Gujarat or state government is anyway trying to. I think the inquiry, the inquiry is already, the committee has already been set up.
We need an inquiry.
Rescue operations are already underway. They have been within an hour. But the fact is,
an FIR has been.
No, about
now
what
let
has
me give you the facts, viewers.
Suspension bridge,
let me give you the facts. Okay, let me give you the facts. Look, Shazia Ilmi, I'm not going to tonight say that you're not doing your job. But I am going to criticize the Gujarat government for not doing its duty by the people. Your job is to lock up the guilty. I want to know why the mayor of this municipal corporation of Morbi is still free. I want to know where the MLA is. I want to know, viewers, where the chief minister is. Why hasn't he stepped down? I'll tell you one second. Viewers, you must listen to me. One second. Viewers, just a few days ago, there was another dreadful tragedy that took place in South Korea, in Seoul. Approximately the same number of people have passed away. There's a national mourning that has been announced there. National mourning. National mourning, viewers, let those words sink into you. Here, viewers, it's business as usual. It's business as usual. People are going about happily holding election rallies, expressing regret, but viewers, I am not hearing anyone at any senior level being punished. I don't see people being punished for pothole deaths, for young children falling into manholes. You remember Prince? You remember Prince, viewers? The Chief Minister of the state didn't go to jail. He didn't even quit. Prince wasn't the only one. Hundreds and hundreds, I've given you the statistics of children and adults still fall into manholes. We don't matter. And I'm not ranting here, viewers. I'm giving you statistics. If we mattered, there would be the same number of top officials in jail as the number of people who died. Now, viewers, I want to open this up further. Shazia Ilmi has been gallant enough to give us at least an expression of regret. But tonight, viewers, that's not going to be enough. Parents of 47 children have had the light go out of their lives, and they want punishment of the same proportion that was handed out to their children by grotesquely profiteering state officials and the concessionaire. There's just no other way of looking at this. I want to bring in Dr. Anand Ranganathan on this. Dr. Ranganathan, what do you make tonight? Why have no municipal officials been named in the FIR? Why is the Chief Minister not tendering his resignation post haste?
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to my fellow panelists. First of all, my heartfelt condolences to the bereaved. This is an incalculable tragedy, as you said. 50 children are dead, more than 150 people are dead. And whichever way you look at this, as you have explained amply, this is a case of criminal negligence. This is a case of criminal culpability, starting from the company that was given the onus of renovating this bridge, all the way up to, I dare say, even the Chief Minister. But there are three things that I must say here. Number one, first of all, I want to thank you, although this is possibly not the moment to do that, but for standing up for the common citizen and saying what needs to be said. I'm not being patronizing here at all. There are many people who would shirk away from the responsibility that you have taken upon yourself. Number two, it is a fact, as you said, that the fitness certificate was not provided, and the culpability there, criminal culpability, lies with the government. So I want to ask, as you rightly said, why is no minister named in the FIR? Why is Mr. Purnesh Modi, who is the Minister for Transport, as well as railway, bridges, as well as road, as well as tourism, why is he still on his post? He should have resigned yesterday evening itself. Remember, it was Narendra Modi who had publicly praised Lal Bahadur Shastri when he had resigned as a railway minister after one incident where 140 people were dead, and emulating Lal Bahadur Shastri, the NDA railway minister, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, had also resigned after two very quick incidents of railway mishaps that happened in Uttar Pradesh. So I want to ask, why is no Gujarat minister? Why has no Gujarat minister resigned? The least we expect is the resignation of Mr. Purnesh Modi. Number two, as you correctly said, the fitness certificates were not given. How on earth was this bridge even being operated? How? That has to be answered not just by the private company. And as you said, why was the contract given to a company that is known for repairing clocks? But it has to be answered by the administration. It has to be answered by the government, by the Chief Minister. And number three, I don't want to politicize this, but I have to say this, if at all someone can be accused of politicizing this, let me take you back to 2013 Kolkata bridge collapse, where immediately the Kolkata administration, when it said it was an act of God, it was the current Prime Minister Narendra Modi who said it was not an act of God, Didi, it was an act of fraud. And if you remember 2016, that was just on the eve of the West Bengal elections, and it was Mr. Narendra Modi who called Mamata government shameless and said that God has shown the way of what happens if Mamata is elected. So obviously such accidents have been politicized in the past, and it has come back to haunt the BJP. And final point, let me say this. The only way to end suffering in this country, and again I'm not politicizing this, Rahul, is to make our politicians suffer it. If you look at the NCRB data of 2020-2019, in the last 2 years, 30 bridges have collapsed, 9 dams have collapsed. What are we talking about? In this country, you have 9 dams that have collapsed and 30 bridges. Where is the infrastructure when we've been promised about this taxpayers' money? So unless we shore up, the citizens shore up and demand accountability right from the top, I'm afraid nothing's going to change. But in the least, I want my good friend Shazia Ilmi to demand the resignation of at least Mr. Purnesh Modi, who is the minister here.
Well, let me tell you, 1 second. We have tried to question another minister who wafted into the hospital today earlier, and I will show you that encounter, viewers, and you can see that person, Brijesh Merja behaved as if he was doing us a favor. And he didn't have the grace, viewers, to apologize on behalf of his government and say, look, I have been so moved by this tragedy that I'm going to go back and I'm going to tender my resignation. Viewers, I want you to listen to this exchange. This is Times Now confronting Mr. Merja. Now just watch this and look at the arrogance. He reeks of it. To answer a question in a democracy, it's like people are doing you a favor these days. Watch this, viewers.
We want to ask you that ब्रिज का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऐसा क्यों दिया गया, कोई चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस क्यों नहीं होता है, इनोसेंट लाइफ का लॉ, इनोसेंट लाइफ की जो जान जाती है वो इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं होती है क्या? You are just moving out of here. A security person is just pushing me. Everything is fine. I'm asking you a very simple question.
I am very to answer you. Listen, only that answer. Here I am came for see to patient. No more comments regarding.
You have to answer Gujarati, sir. Your Gujaratis who have voted you, who have made you mantri, and you are accountable to them, sir. And you have to answer them. Basically, what we are asking you over here is that why proper checks and balances were not being done. Your bodyguard is pushing me now. You can push. He's pushing me now. I am not lying to you. You're not answering me questions. By pushing media person like this, can your accountability set in? Can justice be given? I'm asking you, can justice be given? See, he's pushing me like this. He's pushing me like this. You're going to set accountability? Please. Like this.
Hello, Awan.
Like this or set in accountability? I'm seriously.
Please off your camera. Please off.
I'm asking
please
you.
Off your camera.
आपको एक ग्रीन कॉरिडोर मिल जाता है, पर वो आम आदमी को ग्रीन कॉरिडोर नहीं मिलता है, सर. वो आम आदमी के फैमिली मेंबर को वो ग्रीन कॉरिडोर और वैसी सुविधाएं नहीं मिलती है. वही अनफॉर्चुनेट है, सर. वही अनफॉर्चुनेट चीज है, और ये हमेशा होता है. इसलिए हम बार बार आपसे प्रश्न पूछते हैं, सर. आपको आपके बॉडीगार्ड लेके जाते हैं धक्का मार के. अगर कोई नेता वहां पे गिर जाता तो उसको बचाया जाता बॉडीगार्ड की तरफ से, बट वैसा वो आम आदमी को नहीं बचा सकते ना. उनके पास वो सुविधाएं नहीं है. इसके लिए हम आपके पीछे आ रहे हैं, सर. So you've been seeing this, that this Neta as well, he's been avoiding our questions. He's been trying to move up. हम आपको एक सिंपल क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं कि वो चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस वो जो करने चाहिए थे वो क्यों नहीं किए गए, सर. इसका आंसर हमें दीजिए.
હવે कोई बात में जबरदस्ती ना हो.
आपका ब्रेथ लीजिए फिर बोलिए, ठीक है. समझ सकते हैं, सीढ़ी से आए, ब्रेथ लीजिए बोलिए.
You are kindly listen me. Here I am coming only for patient, not for you.
तो पहले अगर
मैं आपको हाथ जोड़ के विनती कर
हाथ जोड़ के विनती करता हूं, don't ask me any questions. I am not here for you. I am not here for the people of Gujarat who are asking these questions tonight, viewers. And let me tell you, they're not alone. Length and breadth of this country, people are asking the same question. That the people, the parents of the 47 children in Gujarat are today asking. Now I know that the opposition is going to have a field day, viewers. And why not? There's nothing wrong in politicizing a tragedy like this, because someone has to ask those questions. I wish they were asked more consistently, though. And the people who will today from the opposition ask those questions will grandstand, of course. Their own chief ministers will not take responsibility when bridges collapse in their states. But it's a democracy, viewers. People can ask those questions. Let me bring in Professor Monojit Mondol, National Spokesperson of the TMC. Mr. Mondol, you will of course sit here and ask Modi the questions. You will ask the Chief Minister, you're entitled to. What's your question?
Rahul, we will certainly ask question to the Gujarat government for their accountability for the loss of over 150 lives, but we are not going to politicize the issue like them, what they did. Even for one unfortunate death that happened in 2018 bridge collapse, look what these people said. Even for one unfortunate death. My previous panelist referred to the 2016 bridge collapse. 2 people were killed. The bridge was being built by the Metro Railway Corporation for the metro lines. Just 2 people. Look what did the Prime Minister utter. We are not going to politicize this humongous human tragedy, though we consider this is a man-made murder. You have rightly pointed it out. 150 people, and look at the level of response from the government, from the minister, as he was rightly chased by your camera persons. Look at the brazenness. This is the way they treat tragedies. We are not going to politicize. We are not in a mood to politicize at all. We are absolutely with the victim's family. Their lives cannot be certainly recompensated. But again, just 4 lakhs rupees, 4 lakhs to the families of the victims. I'm again saying that this cannot be compensated at all. But you go and be with the people. The Chief Minister is yet to visit the place, and when 2018 happened, and clearly remember, Mamtadi was in Darjeeling. Mamtadi was in Darjeeling for a different official to say came back immediately on that evening itself. Just for one unfortunate death when the Kolkata bridge collapsed in September 2018. And what did your leaders talk about? Look, these are unfortunate tragedies, but this cannot be called an unfortunate tragedy because this could have been averted.
Okay.
The kind of statistics
could have been
that you are
averted,
giving,
no
Rahul,
responsibility, no accountability.
Let me open this up. Spine.
Let me bring in Tushar Gupta and Shazia Ilmi. Shazia Ilmi to respond.
There was no completion certificate.
Okay, I understood.
This was meant for business purpose. They're profiteering.
Yes.
I mean, this is amazing. We did not know these statistics at all.
Okay.
Now we are shocked beyond words that this bridge was opened deliberately on the day of.
The opposition is shocked beyond words.
Followed by
nation is shocked beyond words.
To make profit.
Okay, profit. The word profit is constantly coming up, and it is inescapable. Shazia Ilmi, respond to Monojit Mondol.
Absolutely.
Respond.
So I don't have an issue with profits, and I think when there are public private setups like these and understandings, this is the idea. There has to be profit, there has to be development, but there has to be accountability. And I think something very serious has happened, and I cannot run away and will not run away from all the tough questions that you ask, because you ought to ask them. It is indeed heartbreaking and sad. And yes, everybody involved should be there have to be charges, so it doesn't happen again. The charges have to be pressed. You asked about 9, so 9 arrests have been done, and the owner is still the family is still not yet arrested. That is true, but the fact of the matter is that nobody can run away from something like this, and nobody will run away. That's all I can say at this point of time.
Sanjay
and
Jha,
I think it's a matter of great
Sanjay
shame.
Jha, respond to Shazia Ilmi. No one can run away,
this has happened.
And no one will. She says, she's assuring you. Yes, go ahead.
Rahul, on your show, you and I end up bickering and squabbling and having our own altercations very often. But I need to tell you upfront that in your introduction to today's program, I think you have dispassionately put all the facts on the table. And I'll agree with Anand as well, that these are moments we need to be absolutely bipartisan and only speak in the interest of the common and ordinary citizens of India. I want to share something with you, which is a very personal, deep conviction of mine. And one of the reasons why I am personally in politics, that I think Indian politicians, Rahul, get away with both a free lunch and a free dinner. We all travel a lot. And I can tell you that today, most of us here on this program have probably we read and we are informed and we travel. No democracy in the world lives with the kind of hypocrisy, substandard, third-grade pedestrian culture that we have created for ourselves. And you know the example that you showed on your program of a leader who says, I have no time, I've come here to meet the patients and everything else can wait. It is just a manifestation of the way we are, right? Politicians are about power. And I can tell you the last couple of days, so much of conversation on the success of Rishi Sunak that all of us are very proud of. But tell me, do Indian politicians know, will they accept that the former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who gave the Conservatives the biggest landslide win after Margaret Thatcher, actually lost his job because there was a party in 10 Downing Street and he was not wearing a mask? I mean, that's the kind of standard politicians need to be held to. And I think, at the end of the day, the reason, we fight on optimism and the hope of a change. But today, I would like to put it on record that, whether it's a blame game, whether it's, somebody continuing with the campaign. I mean, politicians in India are brazen. And I'm talking about across the entire political ecosystem, by the way. I mean, each one has had that bad hair day. And it's terrible because, all of us on this show, and I'm sure all your viewers, just take a deep pause and think, out of the 47 children, one was our own or related to us. So think about the other families. Imagine the mammoth grief they are going through. For what? Because they went on a bridge that they thought was safe. They moved it around, it collapsed, and they're dead, they're gone. And these families will probably take years, if at all, to kind of reconcile to this nightmare. Okay. So let me leave it there, Rahul. But I'll agree with Monojit on one thing. Should the Indian politicians please do not announce this 2 lakh, 4 lakh compensation? That is like adding insult to injury. And I would like all political parties to come together and create a fund that pays a handsome compensation and people apologize to the families who I think are devastated for a long time.
I'll tell you something better. Yeah. All politicians should come together and pass a law in Parliament. The Supreme Court, viewers, and let me tell you, the Supreme Court has called upon the Law Commission, and I'm talking about 2014, saying that there should be a law of torts where the ordinary citizen, where Dr. Ranganathan, where any ordinary citizen can file a case along with others against the state, not against corporations.
Exactly.
Against the state and demand justice, compensation, call it what you want to.
Yep.
And this is what the Supreme Court said. Where activity of a public body is hazardous, highest degree of care is expected and breach of such duty is actionable. This obligation is also referable to Article 21, right to life and liberty of the Constitution. We reiterate the need for a comprehensive legislation dealing with tortious liability of the state in such cases for certainty on the subject, unquote. This is what the judgment read. We request the Law Commission to look into the matter and take such steps as may be found necessary, unquote. What happened, viewers? Nothing. One perfunctory amendment has been made to the Consumer Code, Redressal Code, viewers, allowing for consumer panels on your behalf to sue not the state but the corporation. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, you want to come in. After that, I'll bring in Tushar Gupta and also Kapil Madan. Yes.
No, very briefly, Rahul, just to agree with what Mr. Sanjay Jha and Mr. Mondal and Shazia Ilmi have said, but the fact is that public memory is so short, Rahul.
Yeah.
As you correctly said, we have to have some kind of a class action. I ask of every panelist, and I include myself in here, how many of us even remember Dr. Amrapurkar?
Yes, it's true.
I'm sure no one does.
No.
I only remember him because he was a doctor scientist. If you remember 2017, during the Mumbai rains, he disappeared down a manhole.
Exactly.
He died. Nobody knew. His family could not get his body for a day. His body was recovered miles down. And what has happened? There was no compensation. There was no regret. No minister resigned. So unless it hurts the people who are taking our tax money to give us these so-called benefits, I'm afraid, as Sanjay Jha says, public memory is very short. and nothing is going to change. Just to I know this is not the time for bickering, but just minor correction, Mr. Mondal. It wasn't 2 people who died in 2016 Kolkata bridge collapse. 27 people died. But I take your point.
Mr. Tushar Gupta, how do you respond to Sanjay Jha, the TMC spokesperson, and the others?
Good evening, Rahul. You know, the TMC spokesperson said a lot of things, but he said this 3 important words: could have averted, could have been averted. And this describes the helplessness we all feel after every such incident. You know, if I look at infrastructure across India, there are so many projects, so many bridges, so many highways, so many different kind of cable bridges, whatever you want to go for, that you fear will be the cause of someone's death one day. You fear that. You walk on them, you travel on them, and you fear that what if one day this highway consumes a life, and yet you move on, thinking, oh, it's not me, it could be someone else, or I hope it's not me, I hope it's not someone else. You just move on, because that is what a public memory is. It's short. You know, there is Sanjay Jha on this panel, there is Mr. Mondal, there is Dr. Ranganathan, there is you, there is Kapil. A lot of people I know personally. You know what unites us today, apart from the grief we all are facing within? That we all are being choked currently by another infrastructural problem. You and I are breathing a poisonous air, but we won't talk about it unless one of us is consumed by lung poisoning. We won't talk about it. But at the end of it, one of us will get up and say, this could have been averted. That is the helplessness of us as a society. And this is not about the politics of it, Rahul. I don't care for politics at this instant. I don't care about it. But what I care about is the value of human life. Every year, Rahul, we have something like this coming up. Mumbai, the monsoons happen, someone falls down a pothole. There are accidents on highways during winter because of fog. People are killed. We wonder, why this happened again this year? Every year, people in NCR die of lung poisoning because of the smog. We again ask the same question. Why did this happen? Yet, we refuse to look on the answers right before us. That is a helplessness, Rahul. That is what causes accidents like Morbi.
This is a problem. You see, all governments
you
have
saw
left
what happened in South Korea.
All governments...
Rahul.
Yes. Yeah, finish what you're saying. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Mr. Gupta, go ahead.
Rahul, you see what happened in South Korea. You see what happened in South Korea. 150 people. That's a very untimely, very unfortunate incident that happened. And you pray, you honestly look at it. I've never been to South Korea, but I pray that this doesn't happen to anyone. And the next day it happens in your country. What are you supposed to feel? I mean, I can pin the blame on one chief minister, prime minister, home minister, whoever. I want to blame so many people. But at the end, I want to ask one question. Why at the end of everything, it's the same one, same line, could have been averted?
No, I'll tell you, because there's no accountability. There is no accountability, and my problem is that the political culture, viewers, has left you and I totally helpless. No one wants to bite the bullet. Kapil Madan, let me ask you, you're a spokesperson for the Congress, you're an advocate, you're a political analyst, you're a sympathizer of the Congress rather, and I want to ask you a very simple question tonight. For years altogether, and I'm not making this about Congress or the BJP or the NDA or the UPA, so don't pillory me. I'm asking. Governments have come and gone. You're a man of the law. Why couldn't they simply, all these governments who hang their heads in for shame before us all today, all these politicians, why can't they get together in Parliament and pass a law of torts? I want to ask you this. Don't everyone today have blood on their hands?
So Rahul, I agree with you. I mean, this is high time, and this is the right time that we should have a codified law which will cover situation like this. But let me tell you one thing, Rahul. The law of torts will only cover the compensatory aspects of it. I mean, if an unfortunate life has been lost, what would be the compensatory aspect insofar as the person who has lost his life and whatever his family will get? But here the situation is quite different, as you very elaborately explained that it is a case, and in fact all the panelists here agree that it is a clear case where you have a direct there cannot be anything more, visible than this of criminal negligence when you have a clear case of, criminal negligence and you don't make the public official as accused in the FIR. You don't make the minister accused as the FIR. Now, there are two aspects of it, Rahul. The first aspect is when you award a tender, and when you award a tender to a company that apparently does not have any experience in the construction industry, as you very rightly pointed out, that the company is into manufacturing or maintenance of some clocks, etc., then what was the basis, what was the material, what was the representations, what were the documents, the technical bids, etc., that was submitted by the company on the basis of which this tender was awarded, and who all were a part of the committee that decided that this tender will be awarded to them. That is one aspect. If you go into this inquiry, you will perhaps find out who is the person, or who all are the people who are actually responsible for this. Now, the second aspect,
it doesn't take Einstein.
Can I come in?
I mean, obviously it's the state government. They are the ones who are awarding these contracts, and therefore, Shazia Ilmi, I have to come back to you. One second, let me come back to you.
Rahul. Yes. Look, Rahul, you're missing the point here. The point I'm trying to make.
One point.
The point I'm trying to make here.
Rahul, one point.
Okay.
One small point.
One at a time. Let Mr. Madan finish. Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make here, when all this data, all this material is available with you, that should have been a part of the FIR.
Okay, that's exactly the point I made. Yes, okay. Tushar Gupta, answer, and I want to bring in Shazia Ilmi right after that. Yes. And viewers, do call in tonight. Tell us who do you think is to blame.
Let's
hear you.
Just an extension of what Kapil said.
Go ahead.
Yeah, to extend to what just Kapil also mentioned about the public officials, we also need to see who the bureaucrats on the ground were, Rahul. Because these are some nameless faces. We don't know who the bureaucrats on the ground were. It's not possible to know exactly at the right, immediately who the bureaucrats were.
I got it.
You need to also hold the bureaucrats accountable.
No, everyone. I've said so. The municipality, which is packed with bureaucrats.
Why the bridge was in operation.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
They also need to be held accountable.
Absolutely. But unfortunately, accountability starts right from the top. That's the way it is. And it's unfortunate that the person at the top, the Chief Minister of this state, is at this moment not coming out and telling us why he thinks it is okay for him to continue in office. Shazia, I can't understand this reticence. Can you explain it to the viewer?
He's not even visited the victims.
Yeah, one second. Let's.
No, I don't. So no, I don't have an answer for that. I don't know why the Chief Minister hasn't resigned or whether he will resign. And I can tell you this much about the party I work with and who the one I speak for, that anybody guilty either of negligence, and this is criminal negligence, and the sections.
And I'm not getting a clear answer tonight from the BJP. I'm not getting a definitive answer. I want timelines. I want to know why the Chief Minister.
Because I can't tell you whether he will. I can't give you a yes or no.
But why hasn't he already? The point is, if it's a responsive government, as he claims it is,
I can't give you an answer to that.
Why should I be asking?
You're right. I cannot.
Okay. Let me bring in our viewers. One second, Dr. Ranganathan. Let me bring in 3 of our viewers. I don't have much time, and I don't want to lose out the voice of our viewer tonight, viewers. We're doing this for all of us. It's enough. The time has come when these people who take every rupee off our backs, they are made to answer. The time has come. You just have to hear the shrieks of the people dangling between life and death on that bridge, viewers, to realize what a travesty this is. And that's why we've called it a murder. I want to bring in Archana, who's calling in from Delhi. Archana, good evening. Go ahead with your view.
Good evening, Rahul. The heart-rending tragedy in Morbi district is both shocking and appalling. But when have the people's lives mattered, to these politicians, these corrupt politicians?
Yeah.
They are here to serve themselves and not the people. All they do is indulge in political blame and passing on the buck. My fundamental question tonight, Rahul, is what is happening with taxpayers' hard-earned money? Accountability needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Answers sought from these erring politicians and let the heads roll.
Very good point. Siddharth calling in from Bengaluru. Go ahead. Good evening, sir.
Very good evening, Mr. Shivshankar.
Good evening.
I will start beginning first of all that today is our wedding anniversary and we decided not to celebrate our wedding anniversary. My condolence to all the family members. I pray to God sincerely that those who are injured should get back to their work immediately. Forget about politics, forget about the politicians. I least bother about politics and politicians. I'm sitting here in Bangalore, I'm pained. My wife is shouting at me, please don't watch news channel which is disturbing news are coming. Number two, Rahul, I am happy because मेरे घर का कोई नहीं मरा.
Yeah. I
am happy because मेरे घर का कोई मरा नहीं ना.
Yeah.
This is what? It is a similarity between the deep blue sea and the devil's fish.
I know. I empathize with your point of view. Yeah.
It will be buried under the carpet after 1 week. Nobody will be held responsible.
We will bring people to account, no doubt. And you know when Times Now puts its mind to something, you know the end result.
I completely got disturbed. The punishment should be so severe that no FIR, nothing doing. The punishment should be so severe.
I back you completely. I back you completely. And it is very good of you, very noble of you, to have suspended celebrations. I'm telling you, viewers, we are all shocked. And there is anger and there is pain. And it's going to bubble up. I want to bring in Hari from Bengaluru. Hari, good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Rahul. I just have 2 points to make.
Yes, sir.
One, I think there is a lacking in the system itself. Whenever we have these tragedies, like a building collapse or a bridge collapse, we immediately have this postmortem coming out and saying this doesn't have a occupancy certificate, this doesn't have a fitness certificate, etc., etc. This absence of fitness certificate, occupancy certificate is not unique only for the ones where the tragedy has happened. I think it's a common feature happening everywhere, and there's no system in place to ensure that these things are allowed to operate without the necessary certificates. And we keep on repeating there's a lacking system and this needs to be addressed. And secondly, as the
some news coming in, Mr. Hari. Just some news coming in. I want to also bring in Mr. Murthy and Dr. Ranganathan. I want to show some pictures. The Prime Minister holding a high-level meeting on the Morbi tragedy. The PM is reviewing the situation. My appeal to the Prime Minister tonight, viewers, is to ensure that the FIR, the scope of the FIR is enlarged to name big names, so that no one tomorrow dares to, and let's show you the photographs of that meeting, no one tomorrow dares to play with our lives. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Mr. Murthy calling in from Bengaluru. Mr. Murthy, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I feel that the primary reason is that the bridge was overloaded. Who allowed this overloading?
Yeah.
How did they allow that?
Well, sir.
So who is responsible for that?
That is the question, isn't it? Dr. Ranganathan. People today India is standing in solidarity with each one of those families. Each one of them, isn't it, Dr. Ranganathan?
No, absolutely. And as you said, it's just incalculable tragedy when you think of 50 children who are dead. I mean, I can't even begin to describe. All of us are parents, some of us, and it's just so, I'm lost for words. But very quickly, 3 points. Number one, as you correctly said it, and I think Kapil has also echoed it, there needs to be, if not, some kind of a law of torts, but a class action suit that citizens can inflict upon the government to extract what is only fair share of what their taxpayer money is. And number two, and I ask this again, and very quickly, before I come to this main point, when was and Rahul, remember during the monsoon, I asked you this, did you ever see a pothole or a open manhole in Lutyens, Delhi?
No.
No. We need to answer this question. And number three, the BJP doesn't need to go far. I gave you the example in 2017 when 5 people died in a railway accident in UP. Was Suresh Prabhu driving the train? Was he responsible for the accident? And yet he resigned. Prime Minister Modi accepted the resignation and Piyush Goyal was appointed as the railway minister. How on earth
Has no Gujarat minister resigned so far? Is the question that BJP must be asked.
And I don't want to jinx anything, viewers, but since that handover, that example was set, a lot of things have gone right also on the rail tracks. So accountability, and especially accountability of the kind that pinches, is very, very critical and crucial, viewers. So if all these politicians who are pugilistically making all sorts of tonight claims, attacks on the BJP, etc., and the BJP is defending, if they really mean it, if they really stand with us, they will bring a law tomorrow by convening a special session that will empower you and I, viewers, to ask the real questions and seek the real accountability from these politicians. Will they? That's the test. That's the test. And in the interim, I hope that the Prime Minister asks the Gujarat Chief Minister to go. Nothing less. Nothing less.